Thank you everybody for coming. Today's talk is going to be on gratitude. Okay, so it's going to be a bit off the cuff. All right, so gratitude for a better life. Okay, so what is gratitude actually? It is an emotion expressing appreciation for one has. Okay, so everybody, you know, we are all human beings, right? No robots here. So everybody would have felt gratitude at some point in their lives. Okay, but most importantly, it's also a predictor of happiness. That means that the amount of gratitude you feel actually equates to how much happiness you have. And later on, I'm going to show you a whole series of research to back this up. Okay? Alright, so there's this doctor called Dr. Peterson. He's a psychologist, and he gave his students once a very, very special assignment. He told his students to write a gratitude letter saying thank you to the people that they have not talked to or for a long time have not visited, but they feel a sense of gratitude towards. And studies have shown that these letters provided the students with a 100% boost in they feel happier 100% of the time, and they had increased happiness after writing that letter. And the funny thing about this research is that Dr. Peterson himself never dared to write such a letter, but yet he told his students to do. So one day he decided, okay, maybe I should try this, and he did. First time he wrote it, he made it very funny, so that because he was embarrassed, he didn't want to look too corny. The next time, he did it a little bit more sincere, and the happiness grew. Okay, so sincerely say thank you is a way also of boosting your happiness. Another research shows that if you prefer to visit the person, then that's even better. The boost of happiness that you can get is even stronger than if you write a letter. And in fact, the gratitude visit is more effective than any exercise that has been shown in psychology. There is this field called positive psychology that deals in the field of how to make people better, more happy. And the gratitude visit was one of the best ways of making people happy. And even in psychiatry, okay, psychiatry is a different field, okay? Psychiatry is more medical, psychology is a different field as well, very similar but a bit different. In psychiatry, there are also many research articles recently on gratitude, and they have found that gratitude also boosts people's happiness. In one of these reviewed journals, peer-reviewed journals, that means that they took many journals and they reviewed all the journals. And so I have crystallized the important things from this paper, how to enhance your feelings of gratitude. Okay, so you can write about things that you're grateful for, thinking about someone for whom you are grateful, write about it, or make a visit, say thank you, and also meditating on gratitude. And we are actually very lucky people in the sense that different from lay people, we already have created a space for ourselves to meditate. Maybe because we are practicing Buddhist, so maybe for you it might be before you sleep. For some other people, it's before they go to work in the morning, right? So you already have that space. If you can incorporate a little bit of feelings of gratitude towards the things that you already have, towards the people that you are grateful for, and that will actually boost your happiness for that time, and also the happiness can be lasting as well. And also, it also says undertaking the count your blessings exercise. So at the end of the week, writing 3 things that you are grateful for in a sincere and meaningful way. So the key word here is sincere, because if you at the end of the week you say, I'm grateful for my cat, my dog, my house. End of next week, my cat, my dog, my house. Then you don't really put an effort into it. You don't really feel that gratefulness. Then maybe it will lose a lot of the effect. So, to be effective, be sincere. After all, no one else is going to read or have the same thoughts as you. It's just for yourself to feel grateful for the things that you already have. And writing thank you notes as well. For instance, in a shop, and you like the service, You can say thank you, write a nice feedback, right? Or for a waitress, for a waiter who comes and does good service to you, say thank you. And actually, it has been shown that waiters, not the customers, okay, waiters who say thank you to the customers, thank you for coming, thank you for patronizing my shop, they get bigger tips. So it's a two-way street, all right? So these are the ways, in psychiatry, they have discovered these are the ways of increasing gratitude in our lives. And also, very importantly, this is a journal, no need to read, words are too small. It has actually decreased suicidal tendencies and also enhancing meaning in life. Why is this? Because when you are feeling so depressed, so suicidal, nothing in life is good, nothing in life is bright, nothing in life can make you happy anymore. See the good things, even in the little things that you already have, and that will make your life brighter. If you can do it every day, a little bit, and another day, a little bit, suddenly things are brighter, things are happier, your heart feels lighter. And it has been shown that suicidal people, after this treatment, they also tend to be happier. All right, so it also helps in depressed patients, in suicidal patients, and also as well as PTSD, right? Post-traumatic syndrome, right? This PTSD, they tried it on some soldiers that have come back from the war in America, from the Vietnam War, and they found that it has also helped in post-traumatic stress syndrome. So gratitude, feelings of gratitude, elevating your mood has improved people's lives tremendously. As a snowball effect, that means that if you are an ingrate from the start, you cannot, you have what Ajahn Brahm calls a fault-finding mind. Everything is bad or no good. You can't find anything good in life. You start small, a little thing, okay? And when you can feel a little spark of gratefulness, a little spark of gratitude, it becomes easier and easier. And after that, you become a more grateful person. You become grateful for bigger things in your life. You become grateful every moment, and you become grateful, every day of your life. So there's actually a snowball effect, and the biggest bonuses come from experiencing gratitude habitually. So how much actually? In fact, there is a study that has been shown. I mean, people like to ask this: if I meditate, how much should I meditate? People like to ask this, right? Or monks or speakers, how much is enough? And also in gratefulness, they have tried to answer this question. How much gratefulness is enough? How much do we have to do? And in one research, the answer was about 3 minutes for 45 days. I suspect it might differ from person to person, because some people might take a while to get their feelings up. For some people it might be easier. So it's about 3 minutes a day for 45 days. Apparently it's that cut off where you can get the snowball effect. Now, if you skip a day, one day you didn't do it, the next day you have to go back to day one. So if you're at day 44 and you skip day 45, oh no, you're back at day one again. Okay, so you don't skip a day, 3 minutes every day. Does that sound familiar? Actually, it does, isn't it? It's the same with meditation. If you skip a few days, you skip one day, and the next day you don't do, then the next day you don't do also, then it turns into 1 year. It turns into 2 years. It turns into 10 years. All that time is wasted, and then you have to go back to day one again. The person who practices daily will feel the effects. In 10 years' time, think about which person will have more development. The person who has been meditating a little bit every day, or stopped 10 years ago and never started again, right? So it's the same with feelings of gratitude. You can extrapolate that with feelings of loving kindness, right? The 4 Brahma Viharas, compassion, loving kindness, that you do in your meditation. Every day a little bit will accumulate to good feelings, to mental development, to even good health. But it has to be accumulative. All right? So that's why the biggest bonuses come from experiencing gratitude habitually. So that means about 3 minutes a day. Or you want to start slow. So maybe just think about something that you're grateful for once a day. All right? Once a week, right? And once you get started, you will find more and more things to be grateful for. Okay. Professor Kohler was a scientist during the Nazi period in Germany. But instead of researching bombs and science and all those hard things, he researched chimps. And he did research on chimps and insight and how they learn and their intellectual capability. This was during the Nazi time. And he was against the Nazis, by the way. He was against their policies. And he liked to work with monkeys instead. So one day, he left the monkeys out in the rain accidentally. So then he walked back. And he saw that they were shivering in the rain. They were very cold. So quickly he opened the door of the shelter to let them in. But they're animals, right? So you would expect them to just rush in. But they didn't. They stopped for a while to hug him. And then they went on inside the shelter. So you see, animals can feel gratefulness. I think it is a very, very natural instinct. Unfortunately, for humans, maybe because we have a larger frontal cortex, sometimes we tend to curb it. Why should I feel grateful? I'm not grateful. I'm very revengeful. So, sometimes in humans it's a little bit different. But for these chimps, it was instinctive. And is that a one-off example? Did it happen to Dr. Kohler's chimps? And maybe it's just a story. It's just an anecdote. Maybe it never happened. But I happened to go on YouTube and I saw this picture. That's the picture up there of this gorilla hugging Dr. John Goodall, whom is the inspiration behind the show Gorillas in the Mist, because she had so much loving kindness for the gorillas. She worked with them. She brought them back to health when they were sick. So this little gorilla had been ill. It had been ill, and so Dr. Goodall brought him, nursed him back to health. Gave him medicine, treated him, brought him back to health. Then the day came when he was much better, and he was allowed to go back into the wild. So there you go. You can see all those helpers carrying the cage, back into the jungle to release the chimp. And on the YouTube video, it was very, very touching. They opened the gate, right? And instead of rushing out, as you expect an animal to do, it went a few meters, like maybe from here to the end of the cupboards there. And then it came back. It came back, and then it hugged the lady on the left, you see? Because the lady on the left went. So it came to hug that lady. It was so sweet. And then after that, he hugged the carers, and then he hugged Dr. Goodall. It was a very, very touching video. So, animals can feel that gratefulness as well. It was it was very good to see. This is another research, a study shown about how a grateful heart can also help curb violence. Okay, so can you imagine if we didn't have all the road rage, we didn't have all the anger on the roads, how much more peaceful our roads would be? And in fact, gratitude might be the antidote. Who knows? All right, so in this study, there were a group of students, and they had to write an essay. Okay, they had to write an essay, and then one group of them, all of them had to write an essay. Then one group of them had to write a gratitude letter. Okay, I am thankful for my parents, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that. Think of the things that you're thankful for, and then they wrote it down in another essay. So this group wrote two essays. One is the normal essay, another one was the gratitude essay. The other group, no need to write the gratitude essay. They just wrote the normal essay. Okay, then the assessor comes, that means the instructor. The instructor, for all of these people gave them a very, very bad, scathing critique. So everybody, I've never read such a bad essay in my life. You don't deserve to be in this university. So he gave everybody a bad mark. And then after that, okay, all these students were allowed to sort of take revenge, okay, in the sense that, in a way that the instructor had to wear earphones, and then you can blast him with noise, okay? And it was a study in psychology. And they found that the people who had written gratitude letters were kinder. They never blasted him as much as the people who never wrote that gratitude letter. Okay, so the people there who didn't have built up their gratitude feelings already, they were more nasty. They were more in a sense, they were more violent. This is one of the studies that linked gratitude to non-violence. Okay, let's go on. So your happiness list. Every day, you can jot down things that make you thankful, from the generosity of your friends, to the blue sky. 2 years ago, when I got out of bed and I saw the blue sky after a PSI of 400, I was so happy. I could not thank the blue sky enough. That's why there's this picture of blue sky. So, try it for a few weeks during your meditation time. I say during your meditation time because if you link that with your peaceful time, reflecting on yourself, that's very powerful. And also that's the time that we have set aside for ourselves to meditate. So during our meditation time, you can try even if you don't believe in it. But you have to be sincere. And as I've said, you're fooling nobody. Right? You're just talking to yourself. It's your own feelings. You don't have to be insincere or try and lie to yourself. Nobody else is going to judge you, right? And so the meditation is the space in your life for gratitude. And that's why I put 2 brackets there, because that's the space that we all have in our day. There's a difference between that and indebtedness. Indebtedness means, okay lah, you do something for me, okay, I give you back. But you don't feel that gratefulness in your heart, right? So there is a difference. In indebtedness, there's more anger, less appreciation, right? And it's just the simple things that you could have taken for granted. That's why there are 2 kidneys bathing there, because your 2 kidneys are the ones that clean up the toxins in your blood. If you have kidney failure and you need to go for dialysis, then you will know how hard it is and how precious your 2 kidneys are. Okay, as a experiment, right, and to wake people up, I will now ask Really to show me where his kidneys are. Where do you think your kidneys are? Really, you want to stand up? Okay, stand up. Dr. Yo, you can keep quiet. Okay, Really will now show us where his kidneys are so we can send our loving kindness to where we feel they are. Okay, let's go. Okay, good try. Okay, round of applause. Actually, it's not. Okay, sorry, Really, you stand up again. I will show you where your kidneys are. I fell asleep during the Ajahn Brahm meditation. I don't know whether he mentioned kidneys, but that's where your kidneys are. Every day they clear the toxins from your blood. Okay, so when you do your body sweep, also give a thought to your kidneys. Without your kidneys, it's very, very hard to survive. All right? So gratitude turns your attention to what you have instead of what you don't have. This is a cute story. It's actually a kiddie story. But when I read it, it was so profound in its meaning. And I was actually quite amazed that that someone could actually come up with this story, because it's so simple and so cute, and so the message was so profound. This is a story of, it's called The Squash and a Squeeze. There's this old lady. Her house is very small. Look at her house. It's just one room. And one day, she didn't like her house. She said, my house is too small. And I think it's the same with a lot of people. Maybe we have the same idea. I need a condo. I need a landed property. Otherwise, I would not have arrived in Singapore. I'm very dissatisfied with my tiny HDB flat. Maybe, right? So this lady was the same as us. She felt that her room was too tiny. So she went to find a wise man. And the wise man, that's the one with the beard, and the wise man said, okay, do you have animals? And the old lady said, yes, I do have animals. And the wise man said, you bring your chicken in. Chicken? Bring my chicken in? Yeah, bring the chicken in to live with you. Okay, so she brought the chicken. The chicken went cluck, 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 pooped everywhere, broke a few things, and she couldn't stand it anymore. She went back to the old man, and she said, it doesn't work. My house is very small, and now with the chicken it's even worse. The old man said, don't worry, bring in your pig. So the lady said, bring in my pig. She didn't really believe it, but she tried. Okay, so she brought in the pig. And so again, there is another moral here, which I will digress to say. Sometimes wise people like the Buddha, the Arhats, the speakers, our Sangha speakers here, sometimes they say things you think, really? If you try it out, maybe it works. So anyway, I digress. So the pig came in. The pig and the chicken created a huge mess. It was just completely horrible. Plus the pig stank. It was terrible. And she couldn't stand it anymore. The house felt smaller than before. So she went back to the old man. The old man said, bring in your goat. And then you can imagine, okay, we are not children, so I'll just go faster. Bring in your goat, then later bring in your cow. Okay, so by the time the cow came in, there was no space already. Everybody walked like crabs. The plates started falling. There was poop everywhere. You couldn't even clean the house. Then the old man said, okay, let the chicken out. There's space, a little bit of space. And then let the pig out. And then, I'll go faster, so let the goat out, then let the cow out. And by the time the cow went out, I have a big house. Appreciate the little things in your life. When you don't have it, then you realize that actually how much you have missed it, right? So the little things in life, be grateful for those things. So actually it takes a training of the mind, isn't it, to try and see the things that you would miss if you didn't have it. So it takes a little bit of training. What is the link between gratitude and materialism? Will material goods make you happy? Because here in Singapore, in a lot of first world countries as well, we have a lot of temptations. We are able to get, if we can have the best in life. We can have our yacht, we can have a condo at Keppel Bay, whatever, okay? We can aspire to those things, and there are those things that can tempt us. And we will never be satisfied if we are forever craving for such material goods. Agree? So it's very simple. You have something, you want something else. You have a red shirt, maybe your red shirt with collar. Oh no, I need red shirt with buttons. Something like that. So your wants keep going on. If you win the lottery, would you be happy? But as you know, many speakers have said, and I'm sure you people have heard so many speakers already, you know that actually material goods will give a boost in happiness, but it is not constant. The constant feelings of happiness that you can experience are only gotten from experiences. Okay, experiences. For instance, For instance, going on a tour, having good experiences, okay? And your relationships, of course, you know, your family, your friends, those are the things that will give you lasting happiness. It won't be the material stuff. Because, I mean, we have all heard about the simple example is at the end of your life, what are you going to miss most? You're going to miss you're spending time with your family. You know, if you have worked all your life, you didn't spend time with your family, that would be what you would be miss most, right? That would be one thing that you would regret if you had not spent time with your family. So those experiences and relationships will give you that lasting source of happiness and not the material goods, which will give you a boost. Even grades, okay? If you get 4 A stars in your PSLE, that will give you a boost. After that, already, it doesn't work anymore. And even when you go to other universities, they do not look at your PSLE results anymore. Okay, so 4 stars, no use. All right. And materialism is inversely proportional to happiness and gratefulness. So that means that the higher your materialistic streak in yourself, the lower you can feel, the lesser the amount of gratitude that you can feel. Okay, so how does this work? That means that if you are more grateful for the simple things in life, you are more contented. If you're more contented, the craving is lesser. When the craving is lesser, then the happiness can bloom. Because if you're craving, you want for something, you're discontented, the unhappiness grows. So conversely, if you are grateful for the things that you have, the materialism gets lesser, the happiness grows. So that is the link, and cravings fade, all right? So in a sense also, gratitude also can help as a link in the meditation. So that means when you are meditating, and the key word here is present moment, okay? When we are meditating, we are always in the present moment, isn't it? When you're taking a breath, experiencing, trying to do body sweep, focusing on our body parts, focusing on loving kindness or compassion, we are here in the present moment. That's what meditation is all about. When we are here in the present moment, we are contented. You don't crave anything anymore. On a shallow level, that's what we all feel. I'm all right here. I'm watching my breath. I don't need anything more. That's contentment, and that is in the present moment. When you have that, then you can become. The gratefulness tends to come naturally. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm happy, and and why am I happy? I'm happy for the people who have brought me up. I'm happy for the this nice place, whatever. Okay, so the gratefulness tends to come up easier. All right, so that's the link. And also, cravings fade. The other part of gratitude is I'll come back to it. Okay, and in fact, traumatic memories fade. So, for instance, as I said, post-traumatic stress syndrome, that helps as well. Negative thoughts are less frequent and less intense. Okay, so the negative thoughts are less frequent and the happier thoughts come up. And people notice that you have become more helpful because you can see the good in people now. You can be grateful for that now. Even in people whom you do not like or have done something bad to you, you can already feel, non-violent towards them. You can already feel a bit happier towards them because you can see that, maybe it's not so bad after all. Maybe they've been put there for a purpose, right? And also, it shows that the people who give direction, social workers and waiters, if they are thanked, if they could feel the gratefulness from their clients, they tend to give out more. And so it's a happy cycle, not a vicious cycle, but a happy cycle. So gratitude and the optimistic outlook also creates optimism. So some people will think, hey, it could always be worse. So your gratitude for what is happening now, because it's true, things could be worse. So you're contented. you're happy, you're more grateful now for what you have. You don't like tomatoes and you see tomatoes on your plate, but tomatoes have antioxidants, you know. This actually came from one of the speakers who gave such a bad speech that people threw tomatoes. And he said, hey, but tomatoes have antioxidants, it's a good thing. And it wasn't just gorillas, isn't it? I mean, cats will also bring you dead rats, cockroaches. I used to have an HDB cat that came to my flat. He will bring me lizards. That's because, okay, I'll tell you the story. There's this cat that came up. At that time, I was only living on the 4th floor, so the cat would come and visit. Unfortunately, this nice cat was always bullied by a bad cat. The bad cat was really bad. He even looked evil. He was black with a crooked tail. This cat would come up, you know, follow, and fight with my good cat. And if you put like tidbits out, he'll grab it. He was a bad cat. So I didn't know what to do, so I went out and got a spray gun. I'm sorry, but I got a spray gun. And you know, you don't shoot at the eye, but apparently if you shoot around, maybe on the floor, okay, or you aim at a bit at the tail, it should be all right, okay? So in that way, I managed to chase the bad cat away. So this good cat gave me lizards. Not money, but lizards. Okay, so, you know, they were grateful. He was grateful. And so cultivating gratitude needs work. Okay, so 3 minutes, 45 days. Okay, like meditating, like the Dharma practice, it takes work. You cannot one day be an ingrate and one day be a grateful person within 24 hours. So it takes days. You cannot one day be a worldling and another day be an arhat in 24 hours unless you have been practicing for eons of lifetimes already, and then in that very moment you attain enlightenment, then maybe. Otherwise, it takes cultivation and it takes work. However, if you do cultivate that sort of gratitude in life, you will find that your relationships will improve and you have even better energy in dealing with tragedy and crisis and the bad moments in our lives. And in people who are grateful in general, life events, you know, have little influence. Your life events can be really bad, but you can still feel grateful. You know, in fact, does that remind you of something else? It's like equanimity, isn't it? Whatever happens in life, we can still sail through. We can still we can stay afloat. We won't sink into depression or, you know, into suicidal tendencies, because we have this to hold on to, that there are things in life that we can be grateful for. There are things in life that we can live for. And we can, you know, whatever tragedy or bad things that happen in our life, there are always good things that we can see. So that's why it's important. And guess what? There's a link to wisdom. Okay, no need to read because it's a very busy slide. But as you know me, I like to splash all my research out just to show that I'm not kidding and that I didn't make it up. Okay, so this one it is a radio talk show. Okay, so these people, they use newspaper and radio ads, all right, to collect people for the research. 47 people were nominated by the public as being wise. So maybe this collection of BF people here. All right. Then another 47 people from off the street. Okay, so 2 sets of people. Now, these 2 sets of people were asked to do a questionnaire. And it found out that 31% of the wise people expressed gratitude even for their most difficult period in their lives. However, the number of people who expressed gratitude in the common the not wise section of the people, the percentage was lower. There was a correlation between gratitude and wisdom. If you are wiser, you have more gratitude. If you are less wise, you seem to have lesser gratitude in life. And so the gratitude will experience and express more frequently in people who are wise in this study. And what are the examples? So there's this gentleman in the wise group. He said he was grateful for a new life after surviving a heart attack. Because of this new life, I have new lessons to learn and I've started to see life in a different way. It happened for a reason. My heart attack happened for a reason. And now I can learn those lessons and I can be a better person. In fact, he was grateful for that which happened to him. And another person said, I'm grateful for being dumped. When I was being dumped, I cried and cried for months. I complained to 1,000 people. But come to think of it, it was a good thing. Grateful. I'm very grateful that she ditched me back then. Otherwise, my private life would have gone in a completely different direction. Even bad things have a silver lining. Good, bad, who knows? Okay, we've come to the health benefits in the research of gratitude. Weekly gratitude exercises. If you exercise more regularly, you felt better about their lives and more optimistic. That is a good start already, isn't it? To feel more optimistic about the week. You have higher alertness, higher energy, higher attention, higher determination to focus on hassles or, for a downward social comparison. That means you don't compare with your colleagues anymore because you're content and you're grateful. It sounds like a very high ideal. Well, it is, but we can always start slow and then progress on. There's no difference in the level of unpleasant emotions. So that means that if you're a grateful person, you will still feel unpleasant moments. That is part of life. We cannot escape the suffering in life. That is the first noble truth. However, it will help us deal with those things. And even though my level of suffering may be the same as the level of suffering as my colleagues, I might sail through in a happier, more optimistic and with higher energy levels than the person beside me. And it has been shown that you have stronger immune systems and lower blood pressure. Yay! And you have a healthier heart. Okay? Any of the 4 Brahma Viharas, can actually achieve this. It's not just gratitude. For instance, as I said before in the previous talks, loving kindness can also give you a stronger immune system and lower your blood pressure. Meditation can do it as well. If you breathe, do the breathing meditation in your meditation, already you have a stronger immune system and lower blood pressure. And you have a healthier heart. Sometimes in a quiet clinic, I'll put on the pulse oximeter and meditate, and then I'll just watch because I'm so bored. And then you can see the pulse oximeter. The pulse oximeter shows your oxygen levels in your blood. So it's for people who maybe have asthma or breathing difficulties, and you want to check the oxygen levels. You stick the finger in. It's painless. And there's a little infrared light that goes through your finger, and it detects the amount of oxygenation in your blood. And it will give you a reading. So for instance, 96% and above of oxygenation in your blood is considered normal. Below 96 or whatever, you tend to be a bit more careful. So I'll stick it in because I'm bored. And then I'll meditate. And who says my oxygen levels go up? And who says down? Actually, it went down. I think it went down because your body is calmer, your metabolism is lower, you don't use that much oxygen. And therefore, your body can rest a bit. That's my interpretation. And I feel that, and of course your pulse rate goes down as well. It measures your pulse. Your pulse goes down, your pulse oximeter reading goes down as well. I don't know, Dr. Yue, if you have tried it. he probably has a more prosperous practice. Yeah, it improves, and it definitely lowers your blood pressure. If you were to I were to take a blood pressure on anyone doing meditation just now, it would have been much lower than your regular ones. And so can you imagine the effect if you have it daily, all right? And you can live longer as well doing gratitude practice, and I'm going to extrapolate that to meditation and loving kindness meditation and so on, okay? There is a nun study This nun study is one of the more famous one that correlates gratitude to living longer. The people who are more grateful actually live longer. What the study is now called the nun study. They were the Sisters of Notre Dame in America. They were special because in the 1930s, their Mother Superior told them, not Buddhist monks, not Buddhist nuns, sort of Christian type of Christian denomination, right? Maybe Catholic. So the Mother Superior asked them to write a letter to themselves when they ordained, listing down the reasons why they were ordained. So meaning that, I want to be closer to God, for instance. I want to serve the community, whatever. Okay, so they had to write a letter listing the reasons why they ordained. And then this study was done when they were about 75 years old. So that was a long time ago when they wrote the letter when they were first ordained. Now they are 75 years old. The range age of these people in the study was 75 to 102. And they all had been cloistered up in this monastery or a nunnery for that period of time. So they were the perfect cohort to study. Because if you take people from, say, all walks of life, maybe Whaley may be an IT specialist and this person may be a lawyer or whatever, different walks of life, you cannot compare, okay? But these people have been in the same lifestyle group for over 20, 30 years. Now you can compare. And they took a study of what they had written when they were ordained. And they found that the people who had said grateful things in their letters, things like more gratitude, more positive outlook on life, who had more optimistic outlook on life, they had actually lived a good 6 or 7 years more than the people who had listed more negative things. This was one of the studies that actually showed that gratitude actually prolongs your life. Good, right? 6 to 10 years longer than those who did not. And it also gives better sleep. So another study in neuromuscular disease, people who have nerve problems, right? They have greater energy, more optimism, okay, and better sleep duration and quality. Sleep better, sleep longer, and feel more refreshed. And also, that's the same in meditation as well. Loving kindness meditation or meditation in the day or, a bit before you sleep can help you sleep better. If you want to sleep more soundly, count blessings, not sheep. Okay, so we can try it out. Keep a gratitude journal. Or if there's too much time, because we are busy Singaporeans, you can just do that, in a few minutes during your meditation. And remember the hard times that you have experienced. But there's a caveat to this, okay? There's a warning. You don't think until, oh Allah, my life is horrible. Okay, so remember how difficult, but quick. Remember the good things that came out of it, okay? Look for ways to feel grateful. Make it deeper, all right? So every day, make it deeper. I know I will be very grateful when I can see the blue sky again. The PSI may be 72 now in the south, but it's still murky. So the day that I can see the blue sky, remember me because I know I will be very grateful. Try loving kindness meditation, acting with more compassion and generosity. Gratitude may not be one of the 4 Brahma Viharas. It's not, okay? But I will put it up there with giving. In my previous speech, I remember I said that giving was the very, very, very bottom of the gradual path towards enlightenment. At the bottom, when you have nothing, when you cannot meditate, when you are not developed, you can give something. You can start with giving, and then you work up there. You become more and more developed. You practice the Noble Eightfold Path. You become more concentrated. And then finally, at the very pinnacle, of course, is enlightenment. But at the bottom, when you start with nothing, when you are the scum of the earth, you can start with giving. Right? It is as good as that. Okay? That is the first level. And gratitude is as good as that because you need to have some gratitude to give. I am sure that when you tong your $1 into the donation box out there, there is some gratitude behind it. You don't tong for no reason, right? You don't tong, we're not robots. You don't tong because I don't know why I did it. You must have some reason, and I believe that behind that act is the intention of giving back, of, that BF has been such a great place for us, and I want to give back. I want to promote the Dharma. I want to give back to the community. So you tong your $1. So, and that is the relationship between giving and gratitude. So I will put it as that. Okay? Did the Buddha ever talk about gratitude? Yes. When? Sorry? Yes, thank you, Radha T. Yes. So he looked at the Bodhi tree out of gratitude. And then also there are some stories where he went to Sita heaven. I can't prove this. There's a legend that he went to Sita heaven to teach to his mother out of gratitude, because his mother had passed away when he was born. So, okay, so try it out. See the good from your failures, and have empathy. Appreciate what has cost your friend who helped you. The person who brought mooncakes drove all the way to your house to give you mooncakes. How much sacrifice has she gone through to come through the haze to do that? What were his or her sacrifices? Okay, so something to feel gratitude to. Yes, thank you, Brother T. The Buddha did talk about gratitude. It is not one of the 4 Brahma Viharas, but he did say this, okay? This is from the Anguttara Sutta, the book of tools. He said, I will teach you the level of a person of no integrity and the level of a person with integrity. Yes, the monks responded. The Blessed One said, now what is the level of a person of no integrity? A person of no integrity is ungrateful and unthankful, never thanked anyone. This is advocated by rude people. It is entirely on the level of people with no integrity. And conversely, he said, a person of integrity is grateful and thankful. This gratitude, this thankfulness is advocated by civil people, gracious people. It's entirely on the level of people with integrity. Integrity, the Pali word is sapurisa, okay? It has been translated as good, also can, okay? So you can think of it as good person, a well-developed person, and also in English, the word integrity also means being honest. Not just being honest to people, all right, to other people, being honest. Yes, there is a huge element of that. But there is also an element of being of being honest to yourself. That you will not lie to yourself. That you won't deceive yourself because you have that integrity to not lie to yourself, okay? So you have that moral level that you will be honest, even to yourself, all right? So if you have that, then you apparently in this sutta, people who have integrity will also be grateful people with gratitude, who have the honesty to say that, yes, you have helped me and I want to thank you for it, all right? If you don't even have that, how do you thank people? How do you be grateful to people if you can't even say to yourself that I acknowledge this person who has helped me? In fact, I want to take revenge on people, or, I'm angry with people. At this point in time, since I got 15 minutes, I will tell you a Jataka tale, okay? This Jataka tale is from the volume of past stories of the Buddha's past lives, okay? I cannot prove this, okay? The Jataka tales were supposed to be written by somebody else apart from the Buddha, so, is it true, is it false, is it, I can't tell. But I will tell you the story. In the past, there was a king, okay? The king had a son. The son was very evil. Whatever bad you can think of, he did. He he was spoiled from young, and therefore when he grew up, he was very, very evil. Now one day, this prince went down to the river, and suddenly there was a flash flood, and the prince got washed into the river, and he was swept along the raging river. But he saw a log coming, so he clung on to the log. And so, trying to find a way to land, but he couldn't. It was a raging torrent of water, so he clung on to the log. At the same river bank, there was a snake that lived there. The snake, in the past life, was a very wealthy person, and he had buried a whole lot of gold coins near the river bank. But because he was so he clung on, in his thoughts, he clung on to the treasure so much, he was so clinging that when he died, he was reborn as a snake, curled up around his treasure. And so during that same flood, the snake was also washed into the river. And when he saw the log coming by, he clung onto the log too. So now there's two people. Then, in the same river, there's also a rat. In the past life, the rat had been a very rich person, and you're not children, so you know the story. Very rich, buried the treasure, and also reborn as a rat, because was in his mind last thought, probably clung on to the treasure. Okay, so when the flood came, he also got washed off, and he also clung. So now 3 people. Okay, and then there was also a parrot. Parrot had no treasure, but parrot was on a tree. When the flood came, tree fell, parrot washed into the river and also clung on. So now there's 4 people, okay? The evil prince, the snake, the rat, and the parrot. At the same time, the Bodhisattva, which was our Buddha in the past life, was a hermit, and he was living in a hut downstream. And he heard the cries for help of these 4 beings. So, Bodhisattva, hero, right, jumped in and rescued the log and all the people, and so brought them into the hut, and keep warm, have some food, get well again. And so the Bodhisattva decided that he's going to serve the weakest animal first, which is the rat. So poor thing, shivering, looking the worst, looking hungry. So he served the rat first. But unbeknownst to him, the evil prince became very revengeful. The evil prince said, "Why are you serving the rat first? You should serve me first. I'm a prince." And so the prince started to have thoughts that one day he's going to kill the Bodhisattva because of this slight to his ego. So anyway, when everybody was better and the flood waters receded and the rains went away, everybody said goodbye. The snake said, "Sir, I am not a poor snake. I actually have a lot of treasure buried. So if ever you need money, all you have to do is just say, 'Snake, snake,' and I will come, and you can have my treasure." The rat said the same, and the parrot also said, "I am not a poor parrot. If you need rice, I will bring rice to you." The human being said, "Okay, you come to my kingdom, I will serve you." So okay, everybody left. Funny, isn't it, how the animals were sincerely grateful. The human was not. But anyway, one day the Bodhisattva decided to test them out. So he went to the water snake. He went to the river. He called snake, snake, and the snake did come out and did say, "Please take my treasure if you want. I'm so grateful you gave me back my life." And the Bodhisattva, of course, said, "Okay, later." And the same thing happened with the rat and the parrot. They all offered their riches, and the Bodhisattva said, "No need now. I will take it when the time is right." Then the Bodhisattva went to the city of Benares, where the prince has now become a king. And the prince, the moment he saw this Bodhisattva, he put him in jail, and he was going to execute the Bodhisattva. Not good, right? Not good. This is like a Taiwanese serial in play. So the Bodhisattva realized that the prince was actually very ungrateful. So he started to spread the word. And before long, the whole country knew that their present king was actually an ingrate. And they were very angry about this. So there was a mob, and they rioted, and they got rid of this prince. And they put this Bodhisattva as the king. And of course, he ruled very well. And so that's the story. So the Bodhisattva has now become the king of the city of Benares. And then he went back to the river. He said, "Snake, snake, now I can have your treasure." And then he called the rat as well and the parrot as well. And you know, the story goes, he built them a bank to put their treasures in, so that they don't have to bury it in the river anymore. And also, you know, he gave them food every day and gave them like gilded golden cages. And so, okay, so that's the story of gratitude. That's the story of one story that I can find, you know, talking about gratitude in the Buddhist literature. So there you go. This is also from the Kanatu Sutta, the Sutta of gratefulness. The same as this, okay? Same as this. Indeed, monks, a worthy person is thankful, mindful, and grateful. The virtuous have learned this, gratitude. The second part to this is also, I'm sure you all have heard, it is the gratefulness to parents, okay? So even if you have massaged your parents, rubbed your parents' limbs until they die, and even while you do that, they poop on you and you had to clean up their poop. If you do that for 100 years, you still have not repaid what they have done for you. Okay, so that was the second part of the Kanuta Sutta. Okay, so I think I've come to the end. Thank you very much for listening. Yes.
Hi, Dr. Hu.
Hey.
Long time no see.
Yes.
I didn't know you have got a postgraduate diploma in psychiatry. Congratulations.
No, I don't.
Now, there are two statements that I read on the board down there, which I think I need more explanation. One is that when you look back at your past, how poor, how bad it is, you feel grateful. The other statement is more craving, less happiness. Now, give my example. In the long time ago, I used to live in a 3-room flat with 12 others. Today, I live in a 5-room flat with 2 others. So you see that I have every reason to be grateful to our leaders. What happens if it is the other way around? Today, I live in a 3-room flat with 12 others. 20 years ago, I lived in a 5-room flat with 2 others. So how do you feel grateful in such a case? It was my craving that led me to aspire to a 5-room flat. And that craving, instead of being less happiness, is more happiness for me. So it's kind of a contradiction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. I do congratulate you on your 5-room flat, which you now live with 2 people. That's fantastic. Yes, if you do have good desires, you know, to better yourself, to get a bigger house, to improve yourself, improve to your status in life, to escape poverty, I actually don't find anything wrong with that. Okay. That is something to aspire to. And there are some desires we do call good desires. However, I also do feel that even if in the worst situations in life, you know, some people do go from landed property to a rented apartment, and it has happened when people's businesses fail and whatever, there are still things to feel grateful for in life. So even if your situation is very bad, you can feel something to make yourself feel happy, to be grateful for the simple things in life, which if you don't have, is going to make you feel, is going to make your life even more miserable. So I think that in the worst situations in life, you can still feel grateful. There's this psychologist who actually brought, he's a Westerner, he brought an Ethiopian to London. And apparently the Ethiopian, I mean, of course, she came from a very poor country. But when she came to London, she said, why are the people here always frowning? And apparently they're always aspiring, wanting, having so much desires that they cannot be contented, and therefore they have become more materialistic and more unhappy. So that's one of the reasons why, in the sense, more materialism can lead to less contentedness and therefore can increase your feelings of unhappiness. So that's one example. And also, I remember not so long ago, Brother Yap gave a talk. And Brother Yap, I still remember, he said, it was during the Myanmar Nagis typhoon where he went to do humanitarian work. And he said that when he was there, wow, he said the people had lost everything. The flood, the typhoons had washed away all their possessions. They had nothing left. Some people had even lost their family, their children, their wives, their parents. But my goodness, they were happier than the people he saw in Orchard Road. It's on the downloads. I still remember that. So, I mean, it doesn't depend actually on your life circumstances. You can still feel gratefulness for the things that you have. So, I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Dr. Hu, I'm indeed very grateful for this talk, and I'm sure most of us here, if
Thank
not
you.
all, are also very grateful for your talk.
Thank you.
I want to ask you a question on this gratefulness visit. What are the ingredients of a gratefulness visit? Who initiated it? How do you do it? How do you tell the other person you're going to have a grateful visit? How long do you stay? What do you say? What do you bring along? So what are the ingredients of a gratefulness visit? That's what I want to ask you.
Thank you, sir, for your question. You know, in fact, I have this advice for all of you. The things that you delete, always put in your mind. That was one thing I deleted because I thought nobody would be interested. And I got a question on that. Shucks. Okay, it was a study by a university. Wait, I go back while I talk. Some university in America done by a psychology professor, okay, about the gratefulness visit. I think it's Martin Seligman, who is also a professor in psychology and one of the top professors in positive psychology, okay. So this one, Martin Seligman. Okay, so what I deleted was you write the letter, right, to some person whom you have not met for some time. And it's about 300 words, so not very long. 300 words, maybe 3/4 of an A4 page. You write very small, it's tinier, write bigger, 1 page, okay? And then you actually have to bring it over. Better if you have not seen that person and the person doesn't know that you're coming. So you bring it over and you're supposed to read it to that person. So that's what the poor students had to do. Read it to, I thank you for bringing me up. Thank you for giving me tuition all those years ago. You know, and so that's what they had to do. They didn't have to bring anything if they don't want to. I suppose it was just a letter. I suspect that they would have been told to just bring the letter and not anything else to keep the study, the results, right, sort of stable, statistically relevant. Because if you bring flowers, for instance, then that person might get more positive feedback. Then it may skew the study. So maybe just a letter, and then you read it to the person and hopefully the person does not know you're coming in advance. So that's what happened. And they found that the gratitude visit was very effective in promoting happiness because the people who did that felt really good after that, you know, especially if the person reciprocated and said, yeah, thanks. You can try it. you can try it, but as usual, there's a warning to this. I am not sure it will work in our society, although, you know, you're welcome to try. If I read this to my mother, she'll, 恭喜me. So, I mean, to someone who will reciprocate, okay? And if you gave a bottle of water to a person on the street, sometimes he may reciprocate something, 一笑啊, you know? So be careful, all right? You know, there is a saying that says, if you want to give wisely. If you want to do charity work wisely, right? You don't just give to people who may not reciprocate or may have the consequences which you may regret. For instance, I'll give you. It happened to me. In my NTUC, there is a very grumpy cashier, very grumpy. She will not smile at me. And I always smile at the cashiers, and the cashiers always smile at me. This one, it didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work. So one day I offered her a drink, you know. I had the reverse. She hated me more. So, you know, when you write this type of letter, when you visit the person, be careful. Choose the right person. Thank you.
Any other?
Oh yes, Dr. Yeo.
Thank you, Wikim, for excellent talk.
Thank you.
Just a little bit of sharing.
Yeah.
My first trip to Japan, I was very impressed when I went up the bus, you know. Everyone would say good morning to the driver, and the driver will say good morning. And at the end of the journey, the customer will say thank you to the driver, and the driver will return. I think this is a very good practice. I sometimes try to do it. And two other points I want to bring up is one, is that what I sometimes do is that when sometimes something good happens to me, you know, I go do a good thing, or maybe I treat the patient well, and the patient actually thanks me, you know. So suddenly in my mind, it takes only 1 or 2 seconds. No? I think this would not have been possible if not for my teachers or not for my parents, you know. So I think you do this exercise more often. It's very good. It gives you a very positive frame of mind. And the last thing is that sometimes when you see an old person, a dying person, and you cannot actually do anything. Sometimes it's beyond medical help. What you do is actually, if it's a relative, and this is what I did to my father. He was dying, and I actually thank him for all the little wonderful things that he did for me. For example, when I was in university, you know, he would actually 1 week 3 times go twice a week, go to the university and take my old clothes home for washing, and will bring me homemade food, you know. And this, I think, has a very positive effect on the person. And also mention to the dying person, the old person, what are the things that he has actually done for other people. Okay, and also sometimes when I actually find something useful, or sometimes I find the Dharma useful, I actually would say thank you for having the opportunity to learn the Dharma, to be able to join Buddhist fellowship, to listen to talks like you. And this actually